Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lead Pursuit podcast here at Historicon. And so once again, I managed to not shirk my duties as a podcast host because last year I tried to get the convention director, Scott Landis, down here, and, well, I was out drinking beer, which I'm sure surprises everyone in internet land.
Well, I was more irritated that I was not with you drinking beer.
I think at the end of the day, I had enough questions about games and said, it's beer 30, we're gone. So I apologize for last year. No, but glad to have you here.
I just wanted to give you shit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, everyone gives me shit about it, but that's fine. I'm quite happy in my place and when I go beer drinking. So, which we did last night. Which, by the way, if you are one of those people who says, "Oh, I don't know about Lancaster. It's probably all Irish pubs and maybe some ethnic food." Oh no, there's brew pubs. There's places you can go and get craft beer. So we hit that last night, and that was good. And it's staggering distance from the hotel, so it makes a good venue here. So the first thing I want to say is thank you again for all that you guys have done to put on Historicon. We joke and we laugh a lot about all the grumbling that runs up to Historicon, but the thing we want people to take away is how much hard work comes from your team. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it is my team. From Brenda, my assistant, to Cliff, my events guy, Jeff, my vendor hall guy, Ed, registrar, Steve and Scott doing tournaments, and Kat doing social media. We're putting in a lot of hours.
Absolutely.
And but it's worth it. And we know it's worth it when we see a packed place. We are at least 200 more than last year, so we're 2,800. I am hoping, and that's this morning, so I'm hoping by the end of today, because we're still putting in badges, we'll maybe get 3,000.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it would be great. Not promising, but
well, we were talking about it last night, and the two things we noticed was it seemed bigger than last year, but the dynamic was different. And so, some of our friends will see when we do our stream games later, there's a lot more younger gamers here than last year. And so I don't know if you guys feel this way, but at least for Steve and I, we feel like all of our grousing and complaining about, is the hobby is it gonna live past us? I'm not worried.
No, and there is a number of reasons for that. And some of them are what I'll say historical positive, and some of them are trying to do what I'll call the gateway drug.
Right. Oh,
approach.
yeah.
So there's a lot like a Rubik's Cube of stuff that kind of goes together with these. And I don't want to bore the audience with those. But one of the things, as you said, it was the, aging of the hobby, so forth. So years ago, HMGS started a group called Next Generation. And what Next Gen does, and I'm not trying to do an advertisement for them, but they
advertise away.
But they're a group that is set up to go out to schools, libraries, like Sea Cadets and so forth, and they put on games and teach the kids from everything from painting figures, and like John Spees, who I'm close friends with, they literally now have the kids running their own games, actually doing their own game rules and so forth. And so that entree in has been perfect. The other aspect of it is, and this was kind of a deal with the devil I cut. I wanted to get...
We all have to do those every once in a while.
I wanted to get Warlord in to start working a bolt action tournament.
Right.
And the reason was two-part. One, at the time, we were no longer having Flames of War here. They are back this show, which is great, and I'm really happy for it. But we didn't have them, and we had what I call a big hole in our tournament.
Right.
So I talked to the actual U.S. Warlord rep. We started making this a regional qualifier, which it is. We're going to expand that presence again here in the next 3 years. But I got it to be a much larger tournament, much to the chagrin of the guy running the tournament. So I'm trying to get him help to do it. So that ties up tables on Thursdays and Fridays. But I have free space. And I said, I can turn these tables around, the same number of tables, same size. And so I'm doing a Warhammer tournament.
Yep.
And I was asked by the board to do it because they wanted to connect.
That's good.
I've got 62 players right now from Warhammer playing right now as we speak.
People that know our podcast know this about us. but I am a Warhammer to historical transition in a lot of things. I did play Hex Encounter historical games growing up, so I did have a historical basis. But when I started in miniature wargaming, it was playing Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader. And so over all the years, it was literally saying, oh, well, I want to try something else. Being at Adepticon, which if anyone thinks Adepticon's about anything other than 40K, everything else is an add-on there. I mean, it's a huge event. They have huge Marvel Crisis Protocol, huge historicals, but everybody's taking a second seat to 40K there. But it was us walking around with our group saying, let's try something different, stumbling into John Russell at Warlord and trying an aviation game. So once again, blame John Russell for the Lead Pursuit podcast.
And that's who I'm working with for trying to get Warlord's presence increased here. In fact, what I'm hoping, if I can get time to walk with John, is I want them to have a Warlord war room.
Right.
And they can trademark that.
Yeah. That's their own thing. They can do that.
But what I'm trying to do there is to get what I consider the largest, historical vendor,
right,
in the world to start
be there
here, because we're the largest in North America historical focused convention. And we are a historical focused convention, but I can guarantee you that at least 20% of our games are non-historic.
Well, and there's always that fine line. I laughed on it was the Anything But a One podcast when they were talking about what's historical enough for you. Where's that historical line? And we even, amongst ourselves, talked about how do you draw the line between it's historically flavored, but the orders of battle aren't right, or the scenario didn't really happen, or you're matching units. And it's funny where some people's red lines are for that. Some people,
and that is all personal preference.
Absolutely.
And we try to accommodate.
Well,
all that.
and there are great games here that I refer to as miniatures reenactments. Because the goal isn't to give you gamer agency. It isn't to say, how are you going to win this battle? It's no, we're going to reenact the battle, and at the end of the day, it better have the same result, or we've messed up. And then there's other people that are like, figure it out. You're now the general. I'm going to screw that one up,
So they have this gentleman who's putting on, he did first Trenton, with Washington crossing the Delaware. Trenton, then he did.
I saw that on there. I'm like, where's the gamer agency in that one?
Right. And
it looked beautiful.
And it was a gorgeous game. It's actually in that scenario book that we gave out to members.
Right.
I think you saw that book. And Hessians did okay. One of the runs, I'll just say that. I guess
we changed history.
They weren't as drunk as they
exactly. They
really
weren't drunk and asleep as they really were.
So
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So I was going to say, but that just brought in 60-some people that would not have otherwise been here. And now we're on the road to the Nova Open, which, again, if you think that's anything but Warhammer.
It's about Warhammer, and it's about Warhammer.
And we know that, right? But what is also part of that equation is I've got almost 70 vendors here.
Right.
And I can tell you that I don't have room in my house to bring a whole lot more home, but there's a whole lot of young people that need to get to my level of purchasing.
No, your level of grognardism, that's what it is.
Right? And these vendors want that. And
absolutely.
So, and if they're not here, we're not here. So, again, the hobby is evolving. And in the days where it was going to be, they're going to take us over, they're not going to take us over.
Nope.
Absolutely not. But if we don't make space, then we're going to really hurt ourselves. And I want to go one step further because you said it earlier. So last year, actually a little bit more than a year ago, Dave Waxtel, who's Scrooby Award winner and all, Dave calls me up and says, hey, I got the SPI guys who have been left on the side of the road.
Yep.
And they haven't had a convention in like 15, 20 years.
Right.
Can you guys accommodate them? And I was like, because there's a very checkered past with them.
Oh, yeah.
And it has nothing to do with them personally. It was how we kind of spawned off of some arguments with the,
with that crowd, with Hex Encounter guys. Yep.
And in the end, we have a room for them. And they're rocking.
Yep.
And they put on games.
Russ is up there, and it's amazing.
The entire weekend. And the best part was they said, okay, here's the list of all the SPI games that got put out in 1976.
Yeah.
Right? And, 50 years ago, and it's a long list.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a guy from the Army War College, because we're trying to set up a relationship there. And I took them through the whole hall here. It was Lake Colonel. I took them up and I took them into the room and I said, this is your foundation, because he is in charge of their simulation and wargaming. I said, this is what you need to understand from your history to today. So kind of connect all of these pieces together and bring people back in what I call into the fold, as opposed to you're outside, is our drive. That's why we support you guys with the podcast here, because you guys are helping us bring in people. And that's why I have Kat work with you for my social media, because we are trying to bring people back into the fold, bring people back. And as you said, well, I mean, there's a young kid looking at your table right now.
Well, he's actually going to play Merge. So this is one of the funniest things that I'm going to say this about the couple of kids that are playing. Their parents contacted me and said, I know, Doug, you said 18 and over. They're like, and they listed then the games their kids had played. They've played Downtown. They've played, Red Storm. And I'm like, wow, those games even challenge me. Okay, if they can play those games, even with a parental assistant, they can play these games.
Excellent. So we're seeing the start of that. The last part of that has been HMGS itself.
Right.
Dave Allnut started it and been working with Cliff Brunken. Now Cliff is in front of it. We have an outreach group.
Right.
And the outreach group is now regionalized, which is really what was key. And the outreach folks are supporting local game days, local conventions. I'm in the Philly group because I'm one of the used guys. We go to PAX Unplugged, which is a huge convention, all board gaming.
Yep,
and
exactly.
Let me tell you,
I laugh about that one.
We put on this huge game. There was people from the vendor area all the way down the aisle, beelined it. And we weren't ready to run it. And there were 6 guys, and they're like, we're waiting to start this game. We're waiting to start this game. 5 hours later, they didn't want to leave.
That's good.
I'm like, I thought you guys were here for the PAX portion of it. Like, we're here to kind of inform and let you guys, like, try it out and stuff. Oh, no, we're here to play.
Well, I think to our detriment as gamers, we tend to categorize games and players and things where it's really kind of a free form piece. And we were playing Dragon Strike, which is blatantly a board game in the way it's constructed. It does have miniatures as pieces, and it is blatantly fantasy, but it's also an aerial game. It's got a lot of aerial tactics to it. So we were laughing about the fact that certain people are like, they couldn't put that game they couldn't pinpoint it in a category. They're like, that's not really a miniatures war game. It's not really a board game. It's sort of role-playing game because it's got fantasy in it. But that's how the entire hobby really is. So
exactly. And because there's so many games and it's evolving so quickly from 3D printing to, just everything, it is just evolving. And that's one area I really want to talk about. So, for this convention, a personal friend of mine is Rich Hasnow. Rich is not doing great health-wise, so we made him a special guest, brought him back. But I wanted to do something with Rich that we've never done before, and it spawned even a bigger element of this. So Rich was the original creator of Fire and Fury.
Right.
Now, I don't know if you ever realized this, but we used to run a game here. Fire and Fury is a Civil War game. Brigade level. We started at midnight on Saturday night. It was called Midnight Massacre. There's another group who I'm not going to mention, your hobby place, who is doing their own version of it, but with tanks. We did it with Civil War. And the idea was we would start playing, and if you wanted a +1 to your die roll, you take a shot of Georgia Courage.
We laughed so hard last year about that, and we're like, oh my gosh.
So that's where brilliant. They got that part from. They were like, well, do you guys have this copyright? I'm like, no. It's like, drinking
steal that away.
Drinking is drinking. So, but what we, we had a blast. We had, at one point, I think it was 65 people or 80 people. I don't know the number because it was that late. Because we had naval portion of it and a land portion of it.
That's awesome.
It's a very, if you can play it drunk, it's a pretty good rule set, right? But it is not.
That's why I play Blood Red Skies, boys and girls. Wait, no.
So, but it's not that simple a rule set, and that's the thing. But Rich designed it because he's a graphic designer. Really well. But what we did is I got Rich there. I got his play testers there.
Oh, nice.
I got the publisher there, who was Dave Waxtel.
Right.
And then I got Bill Gray and Michael Montemanero, who were both did the variants of the game. And what we did is we did a panel. I gave them questions. I was the moderator, which that's a very loose term. But I was a moderator. I gave them questions ahead of time. And basically what we were trying to explain was, for people, how do you design a war game?
Right.
And then get it published.
Absolutely.
So what does a publisher care about? What are the playtesters looking at? What do you as a designer, like your sacred principles and what do you think? So like he was saying, my flux capacitor, was my maneuver table, right? Which if you've ever played it is actually it streamlines. Like if you ever played Empire, the 85 rules you got to get to maneuver. Yeah, he took that down to one rule.
Yeah.
But
Greg Smith made that comment in his panel that you guys had for game design, where he's like, streamlining is your friend.
Exactly. And so we did this panel. We had a really good turnout. Then we had to basically cut it off. Afterwards, we did questions and answers in another room. After an hour, and we were like, okay,
we're done at that point. Yeah.
But what that also spawned, and what I would like to get out to folks is we have. I have to get this right. A war games designer workshop.
Yes, exactly.
Not a game design.
Exactly. We can't say it's a game designer workshop.
It's a war game designer workshop. So we learned this at PAX. We saw it, which is kind of like everything spawns everything. Like you said, it's a continuum. And we're bringing in people that are designing their own games to play test them with folks to get feedback, to talk about what they are doing with their things, to try to get some things to consider for the various games. And so in the end, from a war games design and so forth, what we are really trying to do is help our attendees, members, whatever, to get their own rules published. And let me tell you, the publishing rules back in the 80s, 90s, even early aughts to today, a completely different game. Completely different game. And so, I mean, back then, like Rich said, if he didn't have Dave Waxtel, Dave put up the money to publish the first, and he was one of the first color, 4-color
offset
printed
printers,
rules.
Exactly.
And, Dave put up that money. But today, most of these folks, you can't put up that kind of money. But they have print on demand. Bill Gray was talking about now, he doesn't touch anything. He used to have to mail out all his scenarios and his
I remember
variants.
send a self-addressed stamped envelope and we'll get you this stuff.
Right. And now it is
it's all via war game balls. Yeah, exactly.
He's got it all
print on demand, Amazon.
So anyway, we have that focus. We were working with the Army War College, who were putting out their own war game rules for the public for a lot of different reasons, because they're trying to get people educated.
Right.
They want future leaders.
Absolutely.
And I'll even help the Army. Navy guy helping the Army. No, we want to build that relationship with them. So they're speaking, I think, right now. So anyway, let's go to the real question.
Run.
Well, I know. Did you have questions for me?
I did have a couple semi-controversial, because Steve asked me over breakfast this morning. He's like, "Are you really going to grill him? Are you going to put the screws to him about anything?" I am going to ask. For you, was there anything leading up into Historicon that was starting to snowball? Or was a difficulty that you guys had to put together at the last minute that maybe the attendees don't realize, that there were things well out of your control that you were reacting to in close or trying to solve?
So let me say this. One of our biggest concerns is cost.
Right.
And cost comes in a lot of different factors. So the biggest cost, and it hits everybody, attendees, us, the vendors, is rooms.
Absolutely.
And this hotel, I mean, as you know, this facility is fantastic. And it is right size for us. But it's a single hotel here. And we take up almost all the rooms. Now, we negotiated a new contract for next 3 years here. I have all but 20 of the rooms. Everybody's like, oh, you're holding back rooms. I have 80 rooms for the vendors. And as I said, I have almost 70 vendors right now. So 80 rooms is not a lot of rooms for the vendors. I have 40 for my staff, guests, board, that's things. So that, and then everything else is the attendees. Next year, like I said, we'll be down to 20. So rooms is the first start of that. They're going to go up next year, and I'm very uncomfortable. The cost of the convention had to go up.
Right.
The
Right.
cost of the vendors had to go up slightly because everything's gone up.
Yep.
The big issue that I just am frosted about, and all the folks here know it because they are living it, is parking here.
Oh yeah.
So we reimburse parking for people who attend here. So if you are a day tripper and coming in, we try to help it, make it a little bit easier. And Lancaster has parking garages all around this facility, and we try to give you a rebate. But the costs have gone up significantly for us.
Yeah.
And it's making it almost prohibitive for me to do it.
Right.
It's $15 a day, and we're at 2,800 people. Now, they're not all getting parking, but that's a lot.
That's a lot of parking to validate.
And so, it is something we're really worried about. The other thing that came up, and I think I talked to you about this, that they hit me by surprise. We go through hundreds of gallons of water.
Oh, right.
Most facilities put like water jugs out and they do the water.
Pass me my water wherever it is.
Yeah,
Steve,
exactly.
it's behind you.
Yeah. So, suck it up, Buttercup.
Exactly.
You're a Marine.
I get no water, apparently.
So, anyway, so they changed their approach here because they couldn't keep up with us.
Right.
So they went to like a home water cooler.
Right.
The 5-gallon jugs.
Yeah.
It cost me $40 every 5-gallon jug to reload.
So you're going to laugh. And this is where gamers, you can hate me, grognards, you can call me nasty names. Hey, Pat, can you hand me my water container there? Go to REI. Buy yourself one of these.
And put your name on it.
Yeah, put
please.
your name on it because there are sticky finger people who steal these. No.
No, but because people forget them.
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
and they
We wanna
all
get them
look
back.
the same.
Right.
But yeah, go buy yourself one of these bottle stations around the restrooms. You can go refill these things.
Absolutely.
You will not die of dehydration at Historicon.
Right, because we actually have water fountains here.
Yep.
At the host, it's a little bit. I'm sorry, the Wyndham.
Yep,
It's a
Wyndham's
little
totally
different, but still, it is a factor that comes in.
Right.
So in the end, I'm trying to contain the cost. So because I understand where people
Absolutely.
are coming from.
Well, I hate to cut you off, but I've got to run.
But I want to
set
just
my game.
end this with
Yep.
to everybody out there. We built this relationship years ago because, again, we want you guys to pull people in, but we really appreciate the engagement you do with all the folks. We put you right at the edge of the vendor hall because
we are right at the front, boys and girls.
because you are engaging with
Right.
folks, and we really, really appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate all the help that you guys have
It's
given
been
us.
great.
It's been awesome. Thanks a
It
bunch.
is fantastic, and we look forward to seeing you back again next
Well,
year.
good. If I survive this playtext section, we will be back next year. But I have gamers that I think are sharpening their knives to tell me how messed up my rules are. So,
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
So can I tell you something real quick?